Hey, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Leah, and I want to talk to you today about the secrets to Wayfair's graph success from inception to general availability. So, let me first set the stage. First, before I do that, I want to make sure that I talk to you about why I'm here. Why I'm here is because I would love to be able to enable all of you to walk away with a few tactics that you can use to figure out and help get buy-in and engagement for your own federated GraphQL programs, no matter where you are in your journey. Now that you know your mission, sitting in the audience, listening to me, let me actually set the stage. So 4 years ago, Wayfair had a federated graph. Before we had the federated graph program, we used GraphQL in a very, very large PHP monolith. The monolith was so unwieldy that we hit a ceiling in our velocity. Hiring more engineers did not help us push code faster to production. We needed to fundamentally change the way that we build software to continue to scale our business. To address the issue, the CTO mandated that we would break our monolith into domain-oriented microservices. With the impending proliferation of services, it was clear that Wayfair would benefit from something like GraphQL federation. At the same time, though, our current GraphQL implementation at Wayfair was not exactly going great. Most of our applications did not leverage the basic compositional architecture best practices that you would use in GraphQL. We also very frequently would end up just mirroring the backend structure in our GraphQL schemas. Such patterns negatively impacted endpoint performance, leaving many speculative of the value of GraphQL. We knew that if we wanted to launch a successful federated graph at Wayfair, we needed to combat these misgivings and invest in Wayfair's developers alongside our technology. We committed to making education and community building top priorities, equally important to the foundational platform and basic developer tooling needed to manage federation at Wayfair scale. Lucky for us, the decision totally paid off. Today, Wayfair has a graph that sees 220 million requests a day from 80 different subgraphs. We have a community of approximately 500 users, and we're growing about 5% month over month. So, what was the secret to our graph success? First, patience. It took over 2 years to make our platform generally available, and we still have areas of Wayfair technology not bought into the value of our graph. Next up, we derived a lot of value from spending time getting to know our users. Understanding the challenges teams faced and the benefits our platform provided let us strategically balance how we invested in our 4 pillars: platform integrations, education, developer tooling, and community. It also enabled us to tell a more compelling story of how our graph delivered value, ultimately generating greater leadership buy-in. Speaking of leadership buy-in, one of the principles that helps drive our success was to engage senior leaders in parallel to our users. We found that through teaching senior stakeholders the value of GraphQL, we can more effectively support the many early adopters who helped us make our vision a reality. Finally, we spent a lot of time setting clear expectations around just about everything we did. The more clearly we articulated working models, what success looked like, and what opportunity areas still existed within our platform, the more trust we built in our ability to deliver. So what did applying these principles look like throughout our journey? The need for patience remained pretty constant throughout our experience. We weathered false starts and a non-trivial amount of pushback from people who did not understand our platform vision. Some stats for those of you who like looking at numbers. We went through 4 different proposals over the span of 1 year before we were able to get alignment around how we would implement graph governance. We explored 3 different proposals for how to structure our graph. And as I had mentioned previously, it took us 2 whole years when we first began building our GraphQL gateway to when we reached general availability of our platform. Throughout these ups and downs, it was helpful to keep iterating and focusing on playing the long game. We didn't need everyone to like all of our proposals. We just needed enough buy-in to keep going. And we needed enough creative juices to generate new ideas until we found a solution that would stick. We were very lucky in that our graph team was intrinsically motivated, and we were really excited by the platform that we were trying to build. We had decided from very early on that we were committed to having fun throughout the grind. We celebrated both big and small wins, we enjoyed each other's company, and we never took ourselves too seriously. Through our patience and continuous iterations, we developed our stakeholder squares framework, for how to effectively engage different groups of people. We found it best to tailor our communications based on our audience's perception of both the value of our graph as well as their current graph proficiency. Most of Wayfair started in the bottom left corner as skeptical novices. They didn't have much exposure to the federated GraphQL best practices and were speculative at best about whether it was really worth the hassle of moving to a different API. We found it most helpful when talking to such audiences to stress the value federation could provide. Through convincing them that federation was worth it, we moved people into the enthusiastic novice group of our potential users. Now, enthusiastic novices are by definition really enthusiastic. They were excited about the prospects of using our platform. We could focus with this group on teaching them federation best practices and how to contribute to Wayfair's graph, converting them into enthusiastic experts. This is where the magic happened. Enthusiastic experts were the most powerful tools we had to influence others. Their passion and their user testimonies could convince others of the value of GraphQL Federation in ways that would seem disingenuous coming from the platform team. Fostering such champions helped us cover a lot more ground and effectively advocate for our graph even when we weren't in the room. While generating buy-in was never easy, by far the most difficult user group to convince were our skeptical experts, people who understood federated GraphQL and still did not want to onboard to our platform. We eventually learned to some of these stakeholders go. As long as skeptics did not own a strategic piece of our graph, we could still unlock greater platform adoption without their support. As with the general population, we found the most effective way to persuade our skeptical experts was for them to see the success of our other platform adopters. Teams who, for example, were initially unwilling to cede control over their own infrastructure changed their minds after seeing how well our platform could scale and how expensive it was for them to maintain a separate solution. While our patience remains constant, the tactics we use to get to know our users, invest in stakeholder relationships, and set clear expectations differ depending on each stage of our graph journey. In our design phase, we worked across technology organizations to align our graph and platform architecture. We didn't yet have a platform team, so we worked directly with individual contributors from other teams to build and align on the future of our graph. We used two different working groups, one a Tiger team to build our federated gateway, and the other a working group of senior architects from across Wayfair technology to align on our end state architecture. Getting to know our users through such tight collaborations helped us ensure that our platform met the larger Wayfair technology organization's needs. It also helped us develop a group of well-regarded advocates for our platform early in our journey. To meet in the middle, we updated CTO staff and directors funding our working groups of our progress. Through such touch points, we solicited feedback from these key stakeholders on our end state architecture and go-to-market strategy. Creating this transparency and asking for feedback early helps leaders feel invested and comfortable with our platform. It also created greater trust in the value of federation and our ability to deliver, eventually enabling us to secure funding for a full platform team. We found the most important expectation to set during this design phase was that federation and Wayfair's larger move to microservices would bring cultural changes. Teams would need to learn how to own their services while contributing to a shared graph. Setting this expectation made leaders and key contributors more amenable to invest in education upfront to unlock better customer experiences. In our rollout phase, we built the foundational platform, developer tooling, and community touchpoints needed to prepare for general availability of our graph. This means preparing from going from a locked, closed ecosystem that we could control to an open ecosystem where we had a lot less influence. During this phase, our primary customers were a select group of pilots we used to pressure test our platform. We worked side by side with these pilot teams to help them deliver the business outcomes they were trying to secure using federation. Taking this hands-on approach ensured that our platform and educational materials met our users' needs. It also helped impress potential users of the value of our platform through the significant business wins that we were able to deliver along the way. To better support our pilot teams, we needed both their and their clients' leadership to bought into the value of GraphQL. We therefore built on the director and CTO staff relationships we had already established during our design phase and expanded our network to include leaders of our pilot's client and partner teams. We regularly held one-on-ones, monthly platform team updates, and roadshows across technology organizations to create extreme visibility into our progress. Doing so ensured that we could directly address any concerns expressed by potential users. It also helped us convert skeptics into enthusiasts, willing to advocate for the rest of their teams to adopt our federated platform. We found the most important expectations to set during rollout were around the goals of our pilots. While we were happy to help deliver important business wins, we expected our pilot teams to contribute back to our platform. We also expected the power users within pilot teams to serve as GraphQL advocates and champion federation best practices within their organizations. Doing so enabled us to iterate more quickly on our platform and tooling, as well as establish strategic footholds for our federated graph across Wayfair. Many of the initial pilot participants have since played critical roles in up-leveling their organizations and contributing to our graph governance bodies. Now that we've reached general availability, anyone can contribute to the graph. We have less control of our platform than ever before, but we also have more opportunities to unlock value at scale. We rely on Slack channels, office hours, casual chats, and feedback from Wayfair's graph governance bodies to share ideas, identify pain points, and keep a pulse on how our users are doing. Such touch points help us prioritize our roadmap based on users' needs. They also provide concrete examples we can use or teams that we can work with to validate new features or next steps in our larger platform strategy. Now that we're in general availability, we keep senior leaders informed by contributing to organizational and other established updates. This allows us to control the narrative around the value our platform team provides, as well as the platform itself. It also helps us set clear expectations for our leaders on where we want to go and the value of what we're trying to build. Most of the expectations we set relate to balancing the need to empower our users with remaining an opinionated platform. We have proven that through our own journey, encouraging others to contribute to the graph community and our platform is an effective way to scale to a company Wayfair's size. At the same time, we must continue to educate people around best practices and set guardrails to help teams deliver great customer experiences. As we continue to drive adoption and embark on new journeys to extend our platform, we must continually thread this needle between empowerment and governance. And that was the secret to our success. Obviously, there are a lot more things along the way, ups, downs, and everything in between. But just to leave this group again with what those 4 principles are that you can then use on your own journeys, I thought it'd be helpful to come back to the major points. 1, be patient. Celebrate incremental wins to build momentum. 2, know your users. Listen to their needs and feedback to help evolve your platform strategy. 3, meet in the middle. Engage leaders in addition to users to get greater buy-in. And last, but definitely not least, set clear expectations. Create trust through over-communicating. Thanks.